It's done. They're going to do it. It's going to change everything. The 2024 election is completely done. I'm so thankful for what you're about to hear. Trump and Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, are attaching the SAVE Act to the spending bill. If you don't know what the SAVE Act, it has to do with election integrity, voter integrity. You're about to hear that in just a moment. But this would require people to show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And this is going to be tied to what politicians get paid. And if you know them, they don't miss a paycheck. Even when everyone else does, those people make sure they get their money. So they're attaching the SAVE Act, this is huge, to the spending bill. Government is either going to shut down or they're going to get paid, and you know they're going to get paid. We have Dan Bongino, who goes off on people against this SAVE Act of election integrity, calls out the facts. We also have Kamala Harris, who has just vowed as president that she would give reparations to the black community. And now she's avoiding the press like a plague. This is a huge breaking news day. Just want to say thank you to all of our new members. Maria Lenny, Don K, CB Wright, John Solomidis. Hopefully I said those names right, but thank you so much for supporting our channel. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because I want to serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really means a lot to grow the channel. And also too, thank you to everybody that supports our channel with the super chat donation. This is huge. Mike Johnson just came out, said they're going to attach the SAVE Act to the spending bill. The government is either going to shut down or they're going to pass this with the spending bill. Check this out.
But among the problems that flows from this open border catastrophe is directly related to this threat to our election integrity. Why is that? You need to understand something really important about federal law. Since 1993, the National Voter Registration Act, we call it the Motor Voter Law, allows people to sign up to vote when they get a driver's license. If an individual only asserts or simply states that they are a citizen, they don't have to prove it. They can register that person to vote in a federal election. And you see, states are currently prohibited, believe it or not, the states are prohibited from asking someone to prove that they're a citizen. The federal voter registration form just has a check-a-box, and if you do that, you're good. The states can't allow it. Well, we think that's a serious problem. And so what we're going to do is the House Republicans are introducing a bill that will require proof of citizenship to vote. It seems like common sense. I'm sure all of us would agree. We only want U.S. citizens to vote in U.S. elections. But there are some Democrats who don't want to do that. We believe that...
You want to know the Democrats that don't want to do that? Check this out. Whenever they voted on this, every Republican... There was 216 yays and 198 nays. Because they didn't, the Democrats don't want this. They don't want there to be voter election integrity. But that's why they're attaching it to the spending bill. It's done. They're going to make it happen. And we're going to get election integrity to require proof of citizenship.
One of their designs, one of the reasons for this open border, which everybody asks all around the country, why would they do this? Why would they allow all this chaos? Why the violence? Because they want to turn these people into voters. Right now, the administration is encouraging illegals to go to their local welfare office to sign up for benefits. Well, guess what? When you go to a welfare office, they also ask you if you would like to register to vote. And so many people, we think, are going to do that. And you know what? The numbers are so high. There's so many millions of illegals in the country that if only 1 out of 100 voted, they would cast potentially hundreds of thousands of votes in the election. That could turn an election. This could be a tight election in our congressional races around the country.
And if you didn't know, Trump lost to Biden in Arizona in 2020 by 10,400 votes, and he lost in North Carolina by 11,000 votes. So if 100,000 votes, hundreds of thousands of votes makes a big difference.
It could, if there are enough votes, affect the presidential election. And so that's why House Republicans are going to act. I'm going to announce to you today, here standing alongside President Trump, that we will do everything within our power to ensure that we do have free and fair elections in this country. If we don't have that in a constitutional republic, we have nothing. It's the basis of who we are as a nation, and we owe that to the American people.
We owe it to the American people to have free and fair elections. And now we've got Dan Bongino, who they called him out because he supports this and they called him a fanatic. Bill O'Reilly did. Listen to what Dan Bongino has to say.
But if you are going to go out and now start attacking us for calling out Democrats for wanting illegals to vote and calling me a fanatic when you kiss my ass on my show, you can go f yourself. You understand? You got something to say to me? You're 6 foot tall. Say it to my face. Jump. Piece of shit. You're listening to this guy, you're being played. Here, put up that article about the New York Post article I had put up. Yeah, Bill, the Democrats don't want they don't want illegals to vote. You know, there's an act in Congress called the SAVE Act. Did you know this? You don't even know this, you dipshit. You know why? Let me tell you a little secret about this industry. There's about 10% of the hosts that actually do their own show. Producer Jim, am I right?
Do you think it's you're a fanatic whenever you want election integrity, proof of citizenship to vote? Bill O'Reilly called out Dan Bongino, called him a fanatic for wanting to have this pass, the SAVE Act, which they're now going to tie to the spending bill for the government before the government shuts down. And I've never seen Dan Bongino go off like this.
You know what the other 90% do? No, Dan, they're talking about what they care about. No, they're not. They're too freaking lazy to do their own show. So you know what a lot of these other bums do? Like O'Reilly? They have producers and stuff. Just throw shit in front of them and they read it. He doesn't know shit. They have this act called the SAVE Act. It's a really simple thing. It's up in the House of Representatives, or it's going to be. And the bill says something real simple. That if you're going to register to vote, you should be able to prove you're a citizen. Mm-hmm. How many Democrats, Bill? Because you said it's only the far left, right? How many Democrats support that bill? Oh, there's the answer, you one.
Oh,
You're
sorry,
stupid.
one.
You're so stupid, you dumb. You going to take me on, bro? You sure? What do you think I'm here for? You think I'm here to play nice? Yeah, I give a shit. I give a shit about you. I care about this cause. Mm-hmm. Care about you one bit. You're a bum and a loser. You've always been a loser. You left Fox and you're pissed off that the other people that left built careers and nobody likes you because you're a piece of shit. Calling me a fanatic if you beg to get on my show? Here's the real Bill O'Reilly, too. You want to see his tweet on January 6th? This is a couple days later. He had time to think about this. At Bill O'Reilly, douchebag. President Trump's failure to tamp down the angry protesters. You mean by telling them to march peacefully and patriotically? You dumb f***. President Trump's failure to tamp down the angry protesters supporting him in Washington has destroyed his legacy. Oh, yeah, it really has. It's only up in every swing state, you
Ain't
moron.
that the truth?
And let's listen to this next part. This is Bill O'Reilly. Our divided nation turns to you, Joe Biden. Diffuse it as best you can. Don't f me, bro. You f around, you're going to find out. Go have a few beers with some of the makeup people and other people at Fox. Find out what this guy was to people. And Bill, let me tell you something, because I know you're watching. You have no idea. I'm not going to name names because I'm not like you. You started something you can't tamp down, because I actually have an audience and you don't, because you're You have any idea how many people texted me this morning? Nail that to the wall. They hate you. Nobody likes you. You've always been an and we're doing it live. Bill's jealous. Bill's jealous, of course. He's had a radio show and it sucked ass and nobody listened. Did you know that? Oh, you didn't know that? Of course you know it, because the show sucked.
Never has Dan Bongino been attacked over supporting a bill like the SAVE Act to give election integrity to the United States federal elections. You don't think this is by design? Let me tell you this. This is by design. When you go to the bank, you got to have ID. Airport, the doctor, pharmacy, school, gun store, hunting, fishing, daycare, hospital, bar, workplace, all ID. But whenever it comes to the most important election of our constitutional republic, nah, we don't want you to have voter ID. It's all by design. A lot of people think that this election They say we got to keep it safe. You know why we got to keep it safe? Because of this, of what you're about to see. So we had Elon Musk, who did a poll on X. He said a lot of people have asked, who will you vote for? Out of 5,846,000 votes, 73% said Trump. This is X. This is an open poll. 73% said Trump, 26% said Kamala Harris. You think the polling that you see on TV is true? Well, you know what? You had somebody by the name of Mark Cuban who said, I don't believe it. It's faked. It's rigged. I'm going to do my own poll with my own audience because I'm a Democrat. I'm a progressive. I'm going to show you that Elon Musk's voting poll was rigged. It's not true. Trump did not get 73%. He does his own poll. Mark Cuban does his own poll of who you're going to vote for. 69% said Trump. Tell me that this is not, when you see the polls, how fake it is. Mark Cuban, he's silent, has not mentioned it. Elon Musk has been trolling him, saying, hey, I thought that you would show us that my polling was fake. No, even Mark Cuban's liberal progressive followers chose 69% Donald Trump. We know that what we see online, what we're seeing through the mainstream media, it's not real. And right now, you've got everybody trying to protect Kamala Harris. She's come out with some very controversial saying she's going to give reparations to the black community. You've got more censorship that is trying to come across the world to put down not Donald Trump, but Elon Musk, who supports Donald Trump. Mark Zuckerberg he came out last week, admitted to censoring Donald Trump, the laptop from Hunter Biden, and now Jim Jordan, chairman, not just a regular congressperson, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan has come out and he's saying, I'm going after Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, for censoring the American people. Check it out.
Joining us now is House Judiciary Chairman himself, the great Jim Jordan. Jim, thanks for being on the show. So Jim, we know that big tech has censored the COVID-19 debate online. We also know that Meta censored the Hunter Biden laptop story prior to the 2020 election. You've worked with Meta. Do you think that Meta is going to continue to censor? Do you have faith that Americans are going to be able to have a fair debate as we go into this election?
Well, I feel better about it, that the fact that Mark Zuckerberg admitted basically 4 things. He said, as you pointed out, that the Biden-Harris administration pressured them to censor. They, in fact, did censor. Third, they throttled back the Hunter Biden laptop story literally 2.5 weeks before the most important election we have, the election of President of the United States. And then he also said in his letter that no more Zuckerbucks. He's not going to spend money at these certain boards of elections, certain locations around the country, which I think all 4 of those are good news. And the fact that he confirmed all that literally 60-some days before our presidential election, I think is good news, because who knows what they were going to try this year. But the fact that they're now admitted to it, I think it's less likely they do the censorship that they did before. And I think this is, again, one of the key issues in this campaign. The Republican Party is the party of free speech, protecting your First Amendment right to speak out on political issues. The Democrat Party is the party of censorship. That's why Tulsi Gabbard, that's why RFK Jr. endorsed President Trump, because they know our party is the party that will protect your liberties and protect your right to speak.
No doubt. An overlapping theme here is the FBI, right? So the FBI was putting pressure or giving notice to Meta that there could be some Russian disinformation that comes out about the Bidens and maybe Burisma. So the FBI is also responsible now for doing the investigation in regard to the Trump assassination. Christopher Wray came out and said, testifying before Congress, that he wasn't quite sure. It could have been a shrapnel or a bullet that hit Donald Trump's ear. Later on, the FBI came out and said, no, it was a bullet. And now they're telling us that they're not quite sure about the motivation behind the shooter of Donald Trump. Do you have faith that the FBI is a fair actor, a fair player, as they do the investigation on Donald Trump and are responsible for enforcing the laws in this country?
Well, I mean, I hope so, but you're right. I think the Americans are right to be skeptical. Yeah. I mean, this is the FBI who said, if you're a parent going...
Let me know, because I don't know about y'all, but in the past couple of years, I have become skeptical of the FBI, the CIA, now the Secret Service, the government as a whole, I just don't feel comfortable anymore. It doesn't feel like the same way it used to whenever I was younger. Let me know your thoughts.
School board meeting, you need to be investigated. This is the FBI that said that, pro-life Catholics were extremists. This is the FBI that can't tell us who planted the pipe bombs, who leaked the Dobbs decision, can't tell us who put cocaine at the White House. So, you're a little nervous about all that. And then when you add to it what you just described, Sean, which is in the run-up to the 2020 race, they did this pre-bunking of the laptop story, basically telling big tech, be on the lookout for a Russian information operation. Knowing that they had the laptop, knowing the laptop was real, they sort of got everything ready, and then they were able to throttle back the story, as we talked about. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned, but we have a task force that's been put together by the Speaker. Let's hope they will dig into it and get to the facts on what happened on July 13th.
What concerns me, and I got to serve with you in the House, we both know the power of money, but we also know the problems around using money as leverage in the Congress. But the fact that the Congress, controlled by Republicans, that controls the purse strings, continues to fully fund the FBI. There's a plan to build them a new headquarters. And they, again, you talk about a two-way street. There's one set of rules for Republicans. There's a different set of rules for Democrats. And Republicans continue to fund them. I think a lot of Americans sit back and scratch their head to go, why did I elect you Republicans? What are you guys going to do to contain the FBI?
Yeah, well, look, I voted against providing funding for a new headquarters. I voted to make sure that voted for the language we offered as an amendment. We lost on a tie vote, which would have said, if you're going to go search the FISA database, you're going to search this database and use Sean Duffy's name, his phone number, his email address, you got to go get a warrant, for goodness sake. That's how our constitutional system works. So unfortunately, we lost that on a tie vote. But yeah, we got to fight harder for these fundamental liberties. I think something that stuck with me this past week, Sean, on this First Amendment right, your right to speak, which I argue is the most important liberty we have. Because if you can't speak, you can't practice your faith, you can't share your faith, you don't have a free press, you can't petition your government. I mean, it's the most fundamental liberty we have. RFK Jr. said something great when he endorsed President Trump. He says, when you look at history, the good guys aren't the ones who were for censorship. And that is so true. And right now, we have a major political party who is for censoring the other side, under the guise of disinformation, misinformation, all this jargon. It's wrong, and we need to...
And I don't know if y'all remember, but just a couple weeks ago, I think it was like 30 days ago, that Facebook censored the picture of Donald Trump with his fist in the air after he got shot and said it was disinformation. It wasn't true. This is the type of stuff that they're saying they're going to go after, because if we don't, the very things that we see with our very eyes, they're going to try to tell people is a lie.
This issue is critical, and I think in 65 days, the American people are going to understand that, and they're going to vote for President Trump because they know he's the guy who will defend their right to speak.
Congressman, it's not just free speech, which is incredibly important as we go into this election season, but it's also the lawfare that's been used against Donald Trump, right? This sham conviction in New York City. Judge Merchan was the judge in that case. Sentencing comes on September 18th. You've continued the investigation to look at Judge Merchan's daughter, Lauren, who's a political activist who works in politics for Democrats. You sent her a letter requesting information. Have you received a response to your request for information, and what do you hope to learn?
Well, we sent them 2 letters. We got no response really, other than they said, we don't really have any information. And the information we do have that responds to your request, we don't think you're entitled to that, which is garbage. So we sent them a subpoena last week. We'll see what they do.
So if you don't know anything about this, what you're seeing right now, so what they're saying, because this has been leaked, is that Judge Merchan's daughter, this is the guy who is in charge, the judge over the New York trial hush money case for Trump. They targeted Trump. And what they're saying is that his daughter, which you're seeing on screen, the judge's daughter, is being funded by the Democrats. She pushed her father to go after Trump, to put him in jail, to indict him, to do all these things. And now they're investigating this with subpoenas to find the paper trail that shows that the Democrats were tied behind Judge Merchan targeting Trump.
Hope they will send us the information. There are 9 million reasons why we need this, why we think it's appropriate we have this information, because that's what this company run by Judge Merchan's daughter got paid from Harris and Biden's campaign back in 2019, 2020. And we want to know what's been going on in 23 and 24. So that's why we sent the letter. We've seen the behavior of Judge Merchan. For goodness sake, he put a gag order on President Trump. It still exists there. He wouldn't let the expert on campaign finance testify at the trial. And the sentencing is coming up here in just a few weeks. So we want this information. We've sent a subpoena. We'll see if they give it to us.
When you say you're not entitled to the information, Congressman, that means they have information in conversations between whether it's Judge Merchan or the Democrat Party in regard to this conviction of Donald Trump. Because if nothing was there, they're like, listen, we'll give you what we have, Congressman, and we have nothing. Here it is. But when they don't do that, that's the problem. I want to quickly turn, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to turn to the southern border. We've learned that there's over 300,000 children that have been lost at the southern border. Kamala Harris is the border czar. She's talking a big game now, like she wants border security, maybe even a wall. But I think you and I both know that she's had 3.5 years to secure the border. And again, Democrats have long talked about the plight of children at the southern border, even AOC crying at kids in cages at the border. None of them have come to the defense of the 300 children lost plus at the southern border. I don't know if the House can do anything. But what do we do to get those kids back, make sure that they're safe? Because I have to imagine many of them are in sex slavery or they're indentured servitude in work, but their plight cannot be good.
No, 10 million migrants have entered the country in the Biden-Harris administration. 300,000 young people they can't account for. 99 individuals who've come into the country who were on the terrorist watch list that they did not detain, that they released into the country, and they just made the border czar their nominee. This is how bad it is. I think this issue is front of mind for the American voter and is going to play a big role in this election. President Trump secured our border, and in 4 years' time, we went from a secure border to no border. That just is so obvious, I think, to the country. And this problem is across the nation now, not just in border states and border communities. It's across the nation. When you have 10 million on pace to get to 12, I tell people that's the equivalent of the entire population of our state, Ohio. We're the 7th largest state in the country. 12 million migrants entering your country in a 4-year time frame. And again, as I said, they made the border czar their nominee.
It's all by design. Let me tell you this. I've got two 10-month-old babies, and I got a 3-year-old toddler. If I didn't know where my babies were, I'd go crazy. And the United States has lost over 300,000 people. I mean, not people, but children. They don't know where they're at. We've got their names, we've got pictures, we got all that, but we don't know where they're at. Yet you're not hearing it on any of the news. If this was Trump, if this had come out under Trump, it would be headlines across the border, across every news station. Trump lost 300,000 kids, but you're not seeing anything being said by CNN, MSNBC, or any of them because it's under the Biden-Harris administration. And now we've got this news about Kamala Harris agreeing to give reparations to the black community. Check this out. Oh, sorry.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved, if you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that bill.
Reparations. I feel like she's pandering. I feel like it's all fake. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think reparations are right to the black community? I'll say this, that I grew up with nothing. I mean, we've had to bust our butt to give everything, but living in America is you get the opportunity to make something of yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bust your butt, work hard, and earn the right to have something. And now that she's done that, look at this. Everywhere she goes, this is what her new mantra looks like, her new look is. She's got these headphones in. Don't want to talk to the press. Don't want to say nothing now. This is literally, look. She's got the headphones in, nothing. She doesn't want to speak to the press. She literally had a horrible, horrible interview, and now she doesn't want to speak to the press. And a lot of people just want the simple things. They just want affordable groceries. They want voter election integrity. But what I love is that you even got things from this coming from CNN. Check this out. Oh, sorry, guys. 1 second.
Years. And first of all, inflation is not down. Inflation
is down. That is
no. First of all, the rate of inflation has dropped, but inflation is still going up. So let's tell the truth about inflation.
Okay, the rate of inflation has come down. Wages also continue to outpace inflation.
Okay.
So that doing right now is good politics.
The joy will continue until morale improves. People don't want to feel joy. They want to feel relief. The economic anxiety is real, and it is. You know, you can say inflation is down, and I know that's what the Democrats are going to argue. Not a single person who has bought a single thing in the last 4 years or in the last 4 minutes believes that. And I think you get in trouble in politics when you tell people something that does not match their lived experience.
So everyone stick around. Strategist says people do not want to feel joy.
Yes. Everyone stick around. We're going to.
No, what he said is that people want to feel relief. People are tired of spending so much money at the grocery store, at the gas station, and whatnot. Like, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Because Pelosi is getting lit up everywhere because she has agreed. She said, yes, we need to do this. We need to give illegal migrants up to $150,000 to go buy a home. We need them. We need to give them the American dream. And I'm thinking, we got homeless veterans. We got people that are actually American citizens that are here legally that don't even have the capabilities to go buy a home, and yet you want to overstep them to give an illegal migrant a home? Check this out.
History and social studies teacher Leo Terrell joins us now. Leo, to his point, do you think there hasn't been real accountability for the perpetrators who are harassing Jewish students? Why should we expect anything to change on these universities?
Nothing's going to change, Pete, until Trump becomes president. Let's be very, very clear. Where is the federal government? Where's the Department of Justice? Where's the FBI? Where's the Department of Education? Pete, have you seen any federal arrests? Have you seen any federal troops over there protecting Jewish American students?
Nothing.
This is the Michigan strategy. I'm old enough to remember, Pete, in Mississippi, in Alabama, where Americans, federal troops were sent in to protect black kids. Jewish American students have been abandoned by this administration because they want to win Michigan. It is plain and simple. It will not change until Trump is president.
That's incredible. And to think we will see scenes, we could see scenes like that, and almost no one's been held accountable. A couple of university presidents moved along. But behind it, things have not changed. Let's go to California real quick. A couple of topics there. Your home state. San Francisco is launching a $3 million audit of the city's 98 statues and monuments to figure out which ones no longer represent the city's values and should be removed. Apparently, there's outside money that's funding this to review. What statues are we talking about? I got to believe they've taken any offensive ones down a long time ago, Leo. What are they doing?
This is unreal.
This is what they want to do. They want to eliminate. This is so shameful. Besides being a school teacher, as a civil rights attorney, they want to erase white male history. They want to take down Ben Franklin, Francis Scott Key, Ulysses S. Grant. They want to eliminate white history. And I'll tell you this, Pete, this is very important because you're into education. First the monuments, then the history books.
Right. Yep.
It's going to continue. So this is what's going to happen.
So Francis Scott Key, the guy who wrote our,
Pledge of Allegiance.
Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, Star Spangled Banner.
Benjamin Franklin. So their sin is being older white guys in an era they didn't like. That's it.
That's exactly what it is. They're attacking white males, first the monuments, then the history books, and then completely elimination. They want to erase our American history.
Okay, that's where we're at. Doesn't surprise me. San Francisco, it's exactly where the Democrat Party is. They're already rewriting our textbooks. Of course, they're going to take more statues down if it serves their purpose of 15 minutes ago.
Their narrative.
Let's stick in California for a second. Nancy Pelosi was on Real Time with Bill Maher, and she talked about a new California bill that gives illegal immigrants money toward purchasing a home. Watch this.
Giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses. That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, it's not free housing. It's the American dream being available.
But did you just hear her? Oh, no, it's not free housing. Yes, it is. That's why they're giving them up to $150,000. It's for a free house. She's like, no, it's the American dream. You got to be kidding me.
More people.
This is AB 1840, a law recently passed that gives the housing authority there the ability to give free money to illegals for
up
homes?
to $150,000.
Yeah, and let me just simply say this. Nancy Pelosi, I saw that interview. She's lying. Listen, bipartisan support for immigration, yes. Democrats, Pete, want illegal immigration. Republicans want legal immigration. What they want are new voters in California and America.
Yep.
Basically, they're allowing Americans to subsidize illegal conduct by giving them free homes. Gavin Newsom will commit political suicide if he signs that bill. It is ridiculous, and it insults every American citizen. California is horrible. You woke me up and you gave me a nightmare. California is in bad shape, Pete.
It is. So you're saying the bill has not been signed yet, so he's an opportunity to block it at this point.
He has a... If he wants any chance to become a national figure in 2028, he should not sign that bill. Veto that bill. Nancy Pelosi enjoyed being the kingmaker since she got rid of Biden. Now she wants to control California.
There are lots of Americans, many watching right now, American citizens who can't afford a new home. And the idea that we're spending tax dollars for illegals, you're precisely right. Leo Terrell?
That is the worst part about it. It's not like we're in a surplus. It's not like everybody in the United States has got 2 homes that they're living. No, we've literally got people that are renting apartments. They can't afford a home, yet you have states like this. You have the former Speaker of the House who wants to give and support illegal non-citizens to buy houses. And what's crazy is, like, now a lot of things have changed in the political dynamic spectrum. You've got Tulsi Gabbard, who is now endorsing Trump. A lot of people said this would never happen. This is impossible. She's an independent. She's a Democrat. Well, whenever things get bad enough, let me know your thoughts. When things get bad enough, people start to change. People know that there needs to be changed. And now she's endorsing Trump, has been added to a part of his transition team. So if he wins presidency, she will help replace the people that get into cabinet. She does this interview, and what I love is that Dana Bash softballs the interview to Kamala Harris, but look at her and Tulsi Gabbard go after her. You're going to enjoy this.
Yeah, I think Kamala Harris has a lot of experience. She is not to be underestimated. President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have very different records. This is a unique situation where we have 2 candidates who have served at the highest offices in the land. President Trump, 4 years as president. Kamala Harris, now almost 4 years as vice president, working alongside President Biden. And so this will be an opportunity for voters to look at and compare and contrast those records. If I can be helpful to President Trump in any way, it really is just in sharing the experience that I had with her on that debate stage in 2020, and frankly, helping to point out some ways that Kamala Harris has already shown that she is trying to move away from her record, move away from her positions, and how that contradicts the positions and statements that she is making now that she is the Democratic nominee.
Fake. And it is a remarkable situation in that you are a Democrat who debated her in a Democratic primary, and now you are helping the Republican nominee to debate her. And on that, I remember in 2020, you attacked Harris for being too aggressive as a prosecutor, which is the opposite from what Donald Trump is saying about her as weak on crime. So which is it?
What I pointed out in that debate stage in the 2020 campaign was her hypocrisy. It was how she was saying one thing and doing another, how she was prosecuting people for smoking marijuana and laughing about it when she was asked about it on a radio show. And I think this goes to the heart of many of these different issues that we're seeing now that Kamala Harris is trying to hide from voters, is how she says her position is one thing.
Remember, she just said that she wants to give reparations to the black community, and now she's hiding from the press, wearing headphones everywhere she goes so that she has the excuse not to talk to the press. This is 100%. I can't even describe how bad it is.
But her actions and her record show exactly the opposite. And you can point to that on issues related to the economy, issues related to freedom of speech. She says she stands for freedom of speech. And yet, as we've seen time and time again, her and Joe Biden have taken actions both directly and indirectly to censor free speech. Most recently, I can point to my own experience of this, of how the Harris-Biden administration have added me to a secret domestic terror watch list the very day after Kamala Harris was endorsed by Joe Biden. And I was on TV and warning the American people about what I saw as the dangers of a Kamala Harris presidency, taking action that was clearly political retaliation. They've done this to a lot of different people, which points to how dangerous it is to have people in power so willing to abuse that power to go after political opponents.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the secret terror watch list. We're definitely going to follow up on that, but I do want to move on to what is happening with regard to controversy after the former president visited Arlington National Cemetery this week. His campaign took photos and video of him in Section 60, where veterans of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are buried, used it in a campaign video. The Army also says that Trump staffers abruptly pushed aside a cemetery official who tried to enforce Arlington's rules prohibiting political activities. I know you were with Trump at least earlier in that day at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Did you witness the altercation at Section 60?
I was there from the beginning with the laying of the wreaths, with the family members, the Gold Star family members, and some of the survivors of that terrorist attack in that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. I was with them at Section 60, and what I saw was a very grave and somber remembrance and honoring of those lives that were lost. And I saw President Trump spending time at the invitation of these Gold Star families with them. He was there for a few hours. I did not see or hear about any kind of altercation until something came out in the news later on. The families were there grieving alongside President Trump, and it was a very special moment to really remember their names, remember their memories, and understand the true cost of.
And if you didn't know where Kamala Harris was at during all this, of the memorial and all that, they didn't know. Nobody knew where she was at. And if you want to know where Biden was at, he was actually on the beach. That just tells you a little bit of something about where Trump is at in honoring the 13 service members that lost their lives during the botched Afghanistan withdrawal compared to the current administration.
War and the consequences of the decisions that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden made in the execution of that withdrawal.
Yeah, and it is very clear that the former president was invited in his personal capacity, as you said, by a family of one of the service members who was killed about 2 years ago during the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago to the day on August 26th.
Yes, 3 years ago. The question is about the federal law and Arlington's rules that prohibit partisan or political activities at national cemeteries. And the military and also other members of other families who are buried right near there are upset about the campaign filming it and posting the video online. Do you believe that was appropriate?
You know, I checked with the campaign on this question, and they have exchanges with the officials at Arlington Cemetery. They were approved to bring a camera there to document this historic and momentous day that should not be forgotten by any American. And to have a former president there and joining these Gold Star families, I know President Trump wanted to share that with others, especially given the fact that President Biden and Harris, I heard, were invited by some of these family members. They not only didn't come, they didn't even respond to that invitation. And now to have Kamala Harris put this statement out yesterday saying that she stands with these families, she stands with the military and with veterans, you only have to look at the response that came from the Gold Star families of these 13 service members, of how offended they were by that statement, given she has not made any effort, not on that 3rd anniversary or any other time, to call them directly to offer her condolences and even apologies for their decisions that led to the loss of their loved ones.
Do you think that the campaign will release that communication that you're talking about? Because the Army is saying very clearly that they broke the rules because it was clearly put out online, pictures, video, meant as a part of his campaign.
I thought they already had. I was informed that they had come to an agreement. They could bring a camera there. And as far as I know, and the public statements I've seen from the Army, is that the matter is closed.
I think the matter is closed about the altercation, alleged altercation, which you didn't see, but I'm not sure it's closed with the idea that they seem to have broken the rules and perhaps even federal law by putting out the campaign video. I want to ask you about...
I just like to say one last thing on this, because I think it's important, and I've seen a lot of the headlines and the stories and the concerns that people are raising about this. But to me, as a soldier and as someone who has been deployed to different war zones in the world, and I have friends who are buried there at Section 60, what is more outrageous to me is that there wasn't universal coverage of the momentous day of the 3rd anniversary of the loss of these 13 Gold Star families, and the outrage that they feel that their loved ones are not getting the kind of coverage and memory that their great sacrifice deserves. That is what everyone should be outraged about.
Yeah. And I don't know about y'all, but what's bothering me is Dana Bash is more concerned about the pictures and the videos that Trump and them literally got permission for to be able to have and to do with the families, that the families said they even wanted it. She's more concerned with that over President Biden and Kamala Harris not even showing up, not even paying their respects, when it was their dang fault that they didn't even do it right, and those 13 service members lost their lives. Do you see the hypocrisy, the focus of some of these news outlets of where they're trying to focus at? And I love it how Tulsi Gabbard calls her out. That's the crap that we need to call out and we need to hold them accountable to.
Well, yeah, we have covered the horrible, horrible events 3 years ago. And
3 years ago?
I've done so several times, over and over again. So I appreciate you also talking about their memories, because it is important. Before you go, you said in an interview this week that you were interested in serving in a Trump administration, potentially as Secretary of State, maybe Secretary of Defense. Have you discussed that with Donald Trump directly?
No, I haven't. You know, it's important for us right now to point out the difference between Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump, what kind of president and commander-in-chief they would be. And really the leading concern that I have is about this, about the contrast between their positions and their records, and the fact that as we sit here today, President Biden and Kamala Harris have us embroiled in wars in 3 different regions of the world, have us closer to the brink of World War III and nuclear war now than ever before, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. And this should be of concern not just to Republicans and Democrats, it should be a concern to all Americans, because what's at question is our ability to have a future and to live in a free society where we can be peaceful and prosperous. This is personal for me, as it should be personal for all Americans, because it is our future that's on the line here in this decision that we as voters have to make about who we want our commander-in-chief to be.
And that's 100% true, because I'll tell you this, I've got something special for y'all, because you know Kamala Harris, she just always wants to make sure that she relates to the everyday voter. Here's her. She's pulled out another accent so that she can relate to people. So fake. Watch this.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
What the heck? Are you serious?
Because what we know...
If you are a Democrat and you're voting for Kamala Harris and you don't get offended by this and you don't see this as the dumbest pandering thing ever, I feel sorry for you. I want to pray for you right now, because I'm telling you, for somebody to do this outrightly and do it repeatedly with different accents and whatnot in front of different people, it makes what it says is they think you're stupid enough to not notice, and you're just going to believe everything that they say. Let's listen one more time. Look at this.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave.
She has never spoken like that. She has never sounded like that. So fake. It's disgusting. That's not a president of the United States. And what's most important is what I'm about to show you right here, because when you have somebody, I love it what Dan Bongino said. He posted and he said this. He said, when a lifelong Democrat from an iconic Democrat family who tried to run as a Democrat and whose running mate was a Democrat warned you about the dangers of voting for the Democrat in this election, you should probably listen. Check this out.
When a U.S. president colludes with or outright coerces media companies to censor political speech, it's an attack on our most sacred right of free expression. And that's the very right upon which all of our other constitutional rights rest. President Biden mocked Vladimir Putin's 88% landslide in the Russian elections, observing that Putin and his party controlled the Russian press, and that Putin prevented serious opponents from appearing on the ballot. But here in America, the DNC also prevented opponents from appearing on the ballot.
Yep.
And our television networks exposed themselves as Democratic Party organs over the course of more than a year in a campaign where my poll numbers reached at times in the high 20s. The DNC-aligned mainstream media networks maintain a near perfect embargo on interviews with me. During his 10-month presidential campaign in 1992, Ross Perot gave 34 interviews on mainstream networks. In contrast, during the 16 months since I declared,
this is
ABC,
nuts.
NBC, CBS, MSNBC, and CNN combined gave only live interviews.
2
from me. Those networks instead ran a continuous deluge of hit pieces with inaccurate, often vile, pejoratives and defamatory smears. Some of those same networks and colluded with the DNC to keep me off the debate stage. Representatives of those networks are in this room right now, and I'll just take a moment to ask you to consider the many ways that your institutions have abdicated this really sacred responsibility
of free speech,
duty of a free press,
to
free safeguard democracy and to challenge always the party in power. Instead of maintaining that posture of fear, skepticism toward authority, your institutions have made themselves government mouthpieces and stenographers for the organs of power.
And that is exactly why RFK is with Trump now, because they literally gave Ross Perot, whenever he ran as third-party candidate, got how many, 30-something interviews? They've only given RFK Jr. 2, and they kept him from debating. They just 100% silenced him big time. But I'm glad that he's running with the Unity Party with Trump. I'm glad that they are 100% pushing towards putting America first. This is huge. And with the new SAVE Act that's going to be attached to the spending bill, it's done, y'all. I love it. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, we really appreciate it. We appreciate you watching today. Thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. And thank you to all of our members. I see Josie, Michelle in the chat right now. We appreciate you so much for supporting us. We're going to bring you the top news every single day. We love you. We thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.